What is going on, everyone? Happy Victory Monday. H-Town, stand up, and I hope you are staying warm. It is freezing down here in Houston. That doesn't happen. We're going to talk about the Houston Texans massacring the Cleveland Browns 45-14. And if you were at the game, let me know in the comments so we could get in contact. I want all the pictures. I want videos of the crowd. I want to see the good time that you had. I was at the tailgate, man. Shout out to the Nuff Sale tailgaters and shout out to the Horns Up tailgaters, man. Everyone was an absolute vibe. And I just want to give a shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing me to be here and have the opportunity to talk football with you guys. Very upset and disappointed that CBS took that part out of CJ Stroud's post-game interview. You have to give credit to the man upstairs. The Houston Texans, ladies and gentlemen, once again shocked the world and announced themselves to the world. This is a dangerous team. And if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't want to see CJ Stroud in these Houston Texans. Now, who are we going to play in the divisional round? We'll find out later today. The game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills will determine who the Houston Texans play this Saturday at 3:30. It is either going to be the Baltimore Ravens or the Kansas City Chiefs. If you want to face Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Taylor Swift, you are wishing today for a Pittsburgh Steelers victory. But after these past couple of weeks, I have confidence that this Houston Texans team could walk into Baltimore, could walk into Kansas City, and come out with the W. We're going to talk about this blowout by the Houston Texans. Welcome, everyone, to the 713 Houston Sportcast. I am your host, Ruben Calvillo. I drop daily Houston Texans content, so make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok for the latest news, rumors, and updates. And if you guys are new here to the channel, trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of this season. The good thing is the Houston Texans keep on giving me things to talk about. But guys, honestly, thank you so much. Make sure you're staying warm. Let's continue with this episode. Now, starting with the Houston Texans offense, our coordinator Bobby Slowick deserves so much credit. He has been in his bag the past month. And there's a good chance that Bobby Slowick is gone next season, ladies and gentlemen. We've already seen so many teams request an interview with him to be their head coach. We know the Tennessee Titans love him. We know the Commanders love him. And if I'm Bobby Slowick, it is going to be very tempting. However, I would wait one more year. Let me get more play calling experience under my belt. Let's see how far we go in next year's playoffs. And let me have an opportunity to get myself another $2 to $3 million per year. I know it is going to be super tempting to leave this year, Bobby, but patience is a virtue. I promise you, you'll get that back next year, man. Let's win some Super Bowls here. CJ Stroud, ladies and gentlemen, 10 of 21, 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, a QBR rating of 157.2. I mean, this is elite. This is perfect. Guys, they were comparing CJ Stroud to Joe Montana and Tom Brady during the game. You know how insane that is? And the fact that it is only year one in CJ Stroud's career to be already compared by two GOATs, and both of those guys at different points of their career were considered the greatest quarterback of all time. We are watching a young GOAT, ladies and gentlemen. The legend of CJ Stroud is going to continue to grow, and he's been like this since week one. Honestly, since training camp. CJ Stroud has been consistently one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And for majority of this season, he's done it without a run game. Only 3 100-yard games from Devin Singletary this season. The Houston Texans are 3-0 when that happened. So imagine when we have a dominant run game. That's why I am saying you go get Saquon Barkley in the offseason and watch this offense absolutely transform and watch how much easier it gets for CJ Stroud. However, I do love Devin Singletary, man. Has really stepped it up. We weren't expecting him to be the number one running back for the Houston Texans this year. But CJ Stroud, man, he's done it all. And like head coach DeMeco Ryan said, we are here because of CJ. There is no denying that. We saw this team without CJ Stroud for 2 weeks. Now, you beat the Tennessee Titans, who are one of the worst football teams in the NFL. Then you get your ass handed to you by the Cleveland Browns. That's why so many people expected this game to be close. That's why so many people expected this game to be won by the Cleveland Browns. Because, hey, it was a rookie that they were saying. This is a rookie. But no, this rookie just absolutely stole the show. Absolutely obliterated one of the best defenses in the NFL. Our O-line, where was Myles Garrett? Where was Smith? CJ Stroud was sacked 0 times. And I think this is the 4th time that Myles Garrett has went up against Laramie Tunsil and put up 0 sacks. Credit to this offensive line and credit to our offensive line coach, Chris Strausser. I think this is the first time we've mentioned him all year. But this is not the first good game from this offensive line. This is the healthiest you've been on the O-line. Laramie Tunsil, Juice Scruggs, Michael Dieter, Shaq Mason, George Fant, not Charlie Higg. This was George Fant's first start at right tackle in a while. And this offensive line rose to the occasion and against one of the best defenses in the NFL, did not allow CJ Stroud to get touched. Rushing, Devin Singletary, not the day we were expecting, right? I wanted 100 yards, but he didn't have to do a lot. 66 yards, 5.1 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. His longest run of the day was 29 yards. Devin Singletary, guys, has just been a godsend. Like I mentioned earlier, you did not expect him to start. You expected this to be the Dameon Pierce show. We have not seen Dameon Pierce the past couple of months. Shout out to Devin Singletary, man. He is continuing to be a gem for this Houston Texan offense. The receiving attack. Nico Collins, 6 receptions, 96 yards, a touchdown. His longest was 38. I mean, this dude is emerging, ladies and gentlemen. I will die on any hill saying Nico Collins is a number 1 wide receiver. I've used the word superstar with Nico Collins. There's no Tank Dell. Noah Brown continues to be banged up all year. You are not expecting a lot from Robert Woods. You are not expecting a lot for John Minchie, even though John Minchie had a pretty good game, and I'll get to him in a second. Nico Collins, 195 yards last week, a touchdown against the Colts. 96 yards, a touchdown this week against the Browns. And the Browns, an elite secondary. Like I said, one of the best defenses in the NFL. Yet Nico Collins was having his way. 3 yards away from 1,300 is insane. This is year 3. I cannot wait for more Nico Collins and more CJ Stroud. They're going to continue to grow. And this is without Tank Dell. So imagine how much more deadly and dangerous this offense is going to be with number 3. Brevin Jordan gets a drug test after 1 catch, 76 yards for a tutty. And hey, that was a moment when it looked like the Cleveland Browns were trying to come back, because at that point in the game, both teams were going back and forth until the massacre started. I mean, the massacre started after that touchdown. But Brevin Jordan, fantastic job selling the block, gets free, catches a pass, makes one move, takes it to the house, out hustles former Houston Texan Obo Orakno, and just the crowd is going crazy. The camera is shaking, man. It felt so good to be a Houston Texans fan. And, you know, it was very emotional watching this game. It was very emotional. Shout out to Brevin Jordan, man. And with Brevin Jordan, we were having conversations about whether or not he should be on this team this year. We had those conversations. We thought it was going to be Dalton Schultz, Tegan Quitoriano. We haven't seen Tegan Quitoriano since he's been drafted, man. Shout out to Brevin Jordan, a hard worker. D'Amico Ryans gave him some praise as well. And I just want to see more of number 9 catching passes from CJ. John Mechie, 3 receptions, 44 yards, no touchdowns, but that's okay. Hey, Mechie, your best game of the season, and it couldn't come at a better time. I mean, your catch over the shoulder, fantastic, big play. I'm sorry for all the shit I talked, man. Just don't, if you could keep on giving me these 40-yard, 3-catch performances, man, I am happy. John Mechie has had to overcome already so much in his young NFL career. F cancer. But shout out to John Mechie, man, for having an impact. His first impact all year. But not only pass catching wise, John Mechie is a willing run blocker, and you saw that on display against Browns. Shout out to John Mechie. Your other pass catcher who did damage, Dalton Schultz. 1 reception, 37 yards for the tutty. That's all he needed. That was that Gary Kubiak play action pass, Matt Schaub, Andre Johnson, Owen Daniels. I absolutely loved it, man. Hey, and there was a play that, it was a run play. Dalton Schultz was blocking, put JOK on his butt. If you're going to be blocking like that, I have no problem giving Dalton Schultz a contract extension, man. Overall, this offense, it was easy for them. They were done by the fourth quarter. You saw Davis Mills. You saw Dameon Pierce back there. And I'm going to say this. Nick Caserio deserves so much praise. His first 3 draft picks had an impact in the game. Davis Mills finished the fourth quarter. Nico Collins almost had 100 yards. And Bredman Jordan, the big 76-yard touchdown, man. Great job by Nick Caserio, and the job well done he has done. He deserves Executive of the Year. The offense, man, was just fantastic for the Houston Texans. Now, switching to the Houston Texans defensive performance, I mean just elite. A+. We see D'Amico Ryans in this Houston Texans swarming defense, man. It's not just one Houston Texans making a tackle. It's 3 or 4. 2 pick sixes in back-to-back drives, and they might have found themselves another young superstar. Christian Harris, Harris County, the nickname made by Saw Sports, the OGs. Harris is playing like one of the best linebackers in the NFL. His performance on Saturday, 2 tackles for loss, 8 tackles, 1 sack, 1 interception, took that interception to the crib for a pick 6, reached Joe Flacco's eyes the entire way, puts the nail in the coffin for the Cleveland Browns. And Christian Harris is your first Houston Texans defensive player since J.J. Watt to have a sack and a pick 6. We knew that the linebackers were going to have a huge jump with D'Amico Ryans, and just imagine how special Christian Harris is going to be next year. Another player who balled out, Derek Stingley. Now, Derek Stingley's name is not going to show up on the stat sheet, but he locked down Amari Cooper. This is from DJ Bieniemy. Texans cornerback Derek Stingley has been matched up with Amari Cooper for 80% of quarterback Joe Flacco's dropbacks, and Cooper doesn't have a single catch while being guarded by Derek Stingley so far. Derek Stingley, guys, I've said this all year. It is not a matter of talent. It is a matter of whether or not he could stay on the football field. 5 interceptions this year. Should have definitely been given a second-team All-Pro nod. Disrespectful that he did not even get a Pro Bowl nod. They have him there as an alternate. But Derek Stingley, ladies and gentlemen, has been lights out since coming back. Your 2 pick sixes, we already mentioned Christian Harris. The other one by Steven Nelson. Now, Steven Nelson had an up-and-down game. Was suspect in the beginning, but then gets that pick 6 and plays like a man possessed. 1 INT, took it back to the crib. 3 pass breakups, was on David Njoku duty. And, man, shout out to Steven Nelson. Do not forget he was beefing with general manager Nick Caserio at training camp. Posted the picture of the sweater vest. You cannot trust anyone who wears this. And for them to, as men, have a conversation, Steven Nelson gets a little bit of a pay raise, then has himself a 4 interception season, now 5, and one of them taken back to the crib. Shout out to Steven Nelson, man. I don't know if he's going to be here next year, but he has done a fantastic job this year for the Houston Texans. Derek Barnett. Derek Barnett, ladies and gentlemen, has been a fantastic addition. A lifelong Philadelphia Eagle, Super Bowl champion, has that experience, man. Still only 27 years old, just wasn't getting playing time at Philly. They let him go, and he steps into the Houston Texans defensive line that has had injuries. Will Anderson Jr. has missed some time. Jerry Hughes has missed some time. Jonathan Grenard just got back after being out multiple weeks with the ankle injury. And for Derek Barnett to have multiple pressures and 3.5 sacks as a Houston Texan and has only been here for about 2 months, just insane. And with how young he is and how productive he has been, I definitely want to see Derek Barnett brought back next year. The Houston Texans also sacked Joe Flacco 4 times. One of them by Christian Harris, one of them by Kurt Hinish. I keep calling him Jerry the Crick. Will Anderson Jr., Derek Barnett. And like I said, with Derek Barnett, man, he could have had 2 or 3 of them. Had the 1 sack earlier to make the Cleveland Browns punt, then got his hands on Joe Flacco where he throws that interception up and Steven Nelson takes it back to the crib. And then the last one, but it was Kurt Hinish, Khalil Davis, and Derek Barnett. I just think Kurt Hinish got there first, but just an elite performance by your defense. D'Amico Ryans deserve credit. Matt Burke, our defensive coordinator, deserve credit, man. Just, we did not expect this. We did not expect this type of performance because coming in Cleveland Browns, Joe Flacco was throwing for 300-plus yards a game, did give you an INT, so it was how are you going to respond when you get that INT. The Texans responded by taking both those bitches back to the crib, but just no one expected this type of performance from either the Houston Texans offense and the defense. Overall, man, we are shocking the world, going to continue to shock the world. Looking forward to facing either the Kansas City Chiefs or Baltimore Ravens on Saturday. For more Houston Texans content, y'all know what to do. Come back and follow me for more. Go H-Town. Have a very blessed day.